welcome to Women to Women. I'm Carol Paz, your hostess for tonight, and again we have such a special guest on, Kathy Martin, and she has a triple personality, but we're going to get to that in a moment. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Carpa Nevada LLC, importer of fine Portuguese olive oils, balsamic vinegar, and international teas, as well as Vila Basque Deli and Cafe, home of Pete's famous Basque chorizo. So thank you so much for joining us, and let's turn and meet Kathy. Let me welcome you, first of all, Kathy, so much to be here. I appreciate your coming in. I know your schedule is a very busy one, active one. Kathy, as I mentioned, has three personalities. She has a personal Kathy, she has a owner of a small business Kathy, and she has a political activism Kathy in her. So let's start with a personal Kathy, first of all. Help us understand, where do you originally come from? Where have you grown up most of your childhood?
Well, my parents, my dad was in the Air Force, my mother was from Iceland, and they met in Keflavik Air Force Base in Iceland. So I was born in Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, and every 2 or 3 years we moved. So there's not any one area that I've really grown up with the exception the last 30 years, 30 some years I've been here in Reno. So this is the longest I've been any place, has been Reno.
Change has been a constant part of your life's experience so far. And those Nordic looks come from that mother, right?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, we've had several guests on, Kathy, who have been attached to the military because of their father or mother or because of both. And they have often expressed that change has been a significant part of who they are today. Mm-hmm. Can you identify with that?
Absolutely. What I really enjoyed about the military is every 2 or 3 years moving and going to different countries and meeting different people and different cultures. I really find it very fascinating, more so now than I did as a child growing up.
Right, how do you mean that? Because I think we have viewers who are understanding where you're coming from, and then we have young people who say, why do I want to leave my comfort zone and go anyplace else? I'm happy right here, forget change.
I think it teaches you how to appreciate other people and the way they live. Mm-hmm. How to enjoy and really appreciate what you do have.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people out there that don't have what you have here in the United States.
Isn't that true? And most Americans, I don't believe, I think I'm right in saying this, have that experience or that opportunity to live in a third world nation. Right. Or even to live in one of the more industrialized nations, recognizing that, for example, in Japan, space is limited. Mm-hmm. It's as if you're moving into Manhattan, space is limited.
Right.
So courtesy and respect of area is a very high priority in those nations that are, we have such a broad, expansive, open area here in the West that helps to form that personality.
Especially here in Nevada.
Especially here in Nevada. So I would think that your ability, Kathy, to manage change with your family and liking it, looking forward to new schools, new territories, has helped you balance this three-personality Kathy we're going to get to know. How many years was your family involved with the military?
My father was what they call a lifer.
Okay.
And so he spent his whole life from the time he was 19 until he retired in 78. So he was in his 60s when he retired. So he spent his whole life in the military.
And growing up in a military family, other than the change, conducting, yourself, getting ready for another locale, what's it like growing up in a military family as a daughter?
Very disciplined.
Okay, I would expect.
Very disciplined.
How so?
You always said yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you. You had strict manners. always
In
your
the house
behavior
and out of the house.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know, when you're at home, it didn't matter whether you were in home or out of home. Your manners and your respect for others was always the same. It didn't make any difference. You were expected to be that way at all times. The other thing that my dad was really stringent about was that the education. He felt that we would never move until school was out. So during the school year, we were always in school, and then if we had to move, we had to move during the summer.
And what a great thought about his family that was.
It was very, very important to him.
Oh,
Education
yes.
was really, really important.
Don't break it up, don't uproot it
Right.
until we finish the year.
Right.
And that's significant. I mean, that's a parent making a decision for the betterment of his children.
Right.
He knew.
Right.
He knew. All right, Kathy, so you finished the military life in what state?
Maryland. I had to
Okay.
think about that for a second.
Okay, on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
What brought you to the West?
At that time, my parents were unfortunately going through a divorce. So,
Military is hard on marriages.
yes. So my mother moved out here to Reno because her family, her brothers and sisters lived here.
Okay.
And so we moved out here.
She came toward family, toward
Right.
a support system.
Right,
And that was
exactly.
another very good decision
Yeah.
by a parent. So how old were you when you came out here, Kathy, with your mother?
The first time I came and I was here for a short period was when I was 17. I moved back east, and I came back in 1979. And I had my daughter at that time, which was Crystal.
Okay.
So, yeah, 79, and I started working over at Meadowood Mall when Meadowood Mall first opened, December 1979. Actually, I think they opened in 78, but in the fall of 78.
Okay, and I was going through the Iranian Revolution in 1979, overseas in the Middle East. That's a significant date, significant year for me too. So Kathy, help us understand, you are also a small businesswoman.
Yeah, my
What is
husband
your
and I,
business?
We own a small manufacturing company, J&S Security Doors.
Okay.
So we manufacture, the pretty ornamental iron doors that go on the front of your home.
All right.
We do window guards, gates, railings,
All right.
pretty much anything that is metal.
All right. And what is your role in the business?
I go out to people's homes and I do the estimates.
Okay.
So I go measure and help people decide the designs that they are going to choose for their home.
I would imagine that security doors are a good business to be in.
It is, but during this,
Economic downturn.
the economic downturn has played a big part in, it's not quite as important as food on the table.
Right. In other words, we have to make priority choices now.
Exactly.
And a security door, for most of us, is a luxury item. It's not
Correct.
something that...
It's not an impulse item.
No.
It's
no.
not.
And you think long and hard about where do we need them, how many do we need, what look do we want, and can we pay for all these doors? Okay, I understand that very well. So how many years have you and your husband been in business?
With this business, we've been doing this for 13 years.
But you're also a businesswoman from other.
Yes, we had another business which was All-Gen Services. It was a small engine repair shop.
Okay.
And so I am a small engine mechanic by trade. And
Wow.
so that's something else that I enjoyed doing.
Can I bring my broken down bike with a gas engine to you?
I don't do two-cycle, and that
Oh,
probably
okay,
is a
okay.
two-cycle engine.
Okay.
The engines that we worked on were generators, small industrial engines that went on concrete mixers, cement mixers.
So I'm guessing that you have an analytical mind.
I can fix mechanical things. I can usually
Reason them
work
through.
take them apart and figure out. My husband and I work really well together, as he's kind of the doctor and I'm the nurse. You know, we have
You're a team.
worked really well rebuilding an engine. There was one night that we worked Christmas Eve. We were trying to finish up an engine for a customer. So he was putting parts together and I was, you know, putting things together. Like a piston, you need rings and you need connecting rods and all that. I know how to put those all together and hand it to him.
I'm impressed.
And then, you know, the nurse that hands your husband,
Yes.
the doctor, the wrench,
Right,
you
the
know,
right tool,
the right
yes.
tool, and being able to just reach into the toolbox and
Do you know
pick
what
it.
an asset you are to him? He must think about that every day.
He does.
Good.
You know, we are a very good team.
Very compatible and
very, very
knowledgeable between the
compatible.
two of you. That's
Yeah.
wonderful to hear. Let me just quickly ask you, what is probably the best tip that you can help us understand about what goes into a compatible marriage? They're rare these days. They're rare.
Communication,
Communication,
patience,
yes.
and above all, I think that the two of us are the best of friends.
And you
We
respect
like
that.
each other.
Yes.
We like each other. You have to like each other from the beginning.
Yes. Is there chemistry?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And there's got to be a great sense of humor between the two of you, too.
My husband has a great sense of humor. He really, really does. Sometimes he doesn't see that he does. I have customers.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
That call me after he has put the doors on. I go and I do the estimates, so I do the selling.
Yes.
My brother is the one that manufactures the door, and we do our own powder coating. And then my husband will put the doors up or railings or whatever it is that we manufacture for the customer.
So you are from beginning to end.
Yes.
The producers. That's wonderful.
Yes.
And it's a family business.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, Kathy, when we come back in the second half, I want to know how you, as a military child, strict upbringing, businesswoman, very compatible, knowledgeable, analytical woman, whatever made you decide to go into politics? Give us a hint.
Can I say pure insanity?
Okay, now there must be a reason behind that.
There really is.
Yes.
You know,
And I want to
after-
talk about that.
Yeah. After going to so many homes with people and talking to them and seeing how they've been affected,
Yes.
and not only them, but small businesses, it was important to me to try to be a voice for them and,
Great.
and
Okay.
try to help them.
We want to hear that voice in the second half. Don't anyone go away.
Women to Women. Every Thursday, a new guest and a new passion to inspire you. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Channel 15 for Carson City and Gardnerville, Channel 3 in Reno, Sparks, Fernley, Fallon, and Lake Tahoe.
Welcome back to the second half of Women to Women. We're with Kathy Martin, and Kathy has revealed some very interesting aspects of not only her life but her personality, which says I'm dealing with a highly intelligent woman, so I better watch myself on the show, okay? Kathy is from a military family where discipline, courtesy, manners were all part of the in-family living as well as the out of the family living. And that's important for us to recognize as an audience that she's a principled person. There are reasons behind what she does, what she says. She's a thinker. And Kathy's also in partnership with her husband in a small business here in the Northern Nevada area. And Kathy has really checked in on me, the fact that she can put an engine together, she can take it apart and put it back together. She can, from our little break, drive a forklift with a dress on. She's done that before, okay? And she just is a really girl Friday for her husband. She understands, and as Kathy has put it, it's like a doctor-nurse relationship. They automatically know what is the tool they need to have, and Kathy is there with it, and she understands what her husband is doing with the tool or tools. So Kathy, now we're at the point where we're at that third personality, the political activist. And you have said to us, that by going and in the business and talking with people, hearing their frustrations, hearing their concerns, hearing their opinions or ideas has led you to take an activist role. Mm-hmm. Help us understand what it is that you're now doing in politics or in your representation of a voice for the people and why you're doing it.
The reason I'm doing it is I felt that there needed to be more voice out there for a small business.
Okay.
There's not a lot of small business minded people that are in the legislature.
So tell us what you are running for, so very clear on that.
I'm running for state senate.
State Senate, okay.
So it's State Senate District 13, which is it starts the Lazy Five Park,
okay.
Spanish Springs High School in that area, goes all the way down past the airport,
okay.
so Peckham Lane.
All right, so you're in the Reno area for those who
Reno and Sparks.
Reno and Sparks, yes.
You go east, which is Vista, which encompasses the Sparks area, and goes west over to Stoker and Keystone, which encompasses a lot of downtown Reno. So there's a lot of
territory.
There's almost 53,000 voters, somewhere in that neighborhood. So there's quite
and
a
many
few.
small businesses.
A lot of small businesses.
Yes.
And that's majority of what I've been doing in the last couple of weeks has been going to different small businesses in our community and talking to them and finding out the most important issue that's important to them.
Regardless of background, regardless of area of where their business is, you just want to talk to small business owners. And what are you hearing, Kathy, from them? I was also a small business owner at one time.
Tired of feeling like the target of new taxes. Every time they turn around, they feel like they're being taxed. And, we're the foundation of so many things, small businesses.
We're the employers of so many people.
Exactly. I think in the last 10 years, about 65% of the businesses they are the ones that have employed the employees in the state of Nevada has been about 65%. I'm not sure quite how to put that out, but in the last 10 years, 65% of the people employed have been by small business.
All right.
And it's important that their voices be heard, that all we're trying to do is trying to keep them in business.
Regardless of what political background they're from.
That doesn't make any difference.
That doesn't make any difference, that's right.
The most important thing is the issues and what's going on in our state, in our city, in our community.
How do you get, Kathy, for example, the state of Nevada is at the bottom of the ladder almost, in economic recovery, economic times. So do these small business owners have ideas, innovative, clear-cut ideas as to how to get us back on our feet? Is there a voice to be heard in the legislature there from them that's workable, that's doable?
Absolutely.
Help us understand that.
The biggest thing that I have found from them is that, when you keep taxing us, when you keep coming up with more taxes, how are we supposed to
stay in business?
I have a good example is a business here that's been in business over 30 years, and he wanted to expand to go down to Vegas. And instead of looking at that this man and his company has been in business for over 30 years, they made him jump through paperwork. Unbelievable. Why would you do that when you have an established business and you know that the man pays his taxes, he's
legitimate all the way.
Yeah, all the way, and has been for 30 years. And why would you make it harder for him instead of making it easier for him to open up another location? I just don't understand that.
Now, are ears in the legislature listening?
There are there are other small business owners that have been getting in office. You've got Ira Hansen, you've got Pat Hickey. I can't, there's been many that have been coming up.
And you would like to join them on that roster?
Absolutely, because we're all on the same page, and we believe that it's important to bring more business in town and to keep the people that are here in business and trying to make them heard and not, we don't need more government intervention. I don't mind paying my fair share.
Right.
But I don't want to pay
beyond what you have to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or somebody else's fair share.
Okay, let me ask you this question. As you're talking with various business owners, do you sense that you're going to get a lot of cooperation on this issue, not only in your area of Nevada, but in the state as well? Do you think that most small business owners are going to be clamoring for something positive here, regardless of the area of the state they live in?
Yeah, I really feel that way, especially, should I say, after Obama's faux pas and his...
Which faux pas?
The one about businesses not building their own business.
Oh, okay, that statement that he made.
Yes.
All right. It was taken out of context, to be fair to him. And yet at the same time, it struck at the heart.
It struck at a lot of small business hearts.
Yes.
It really, really did. And once that happened, I saw a lot of people getting together and saying, we need to make a difference. We need to make a change. We need to work together.
That entrepreneurial spirit is so important to this country. We shouldn't be afraid as citizens, as adults, at any time in our life. If we want to work, we can work. If we have an idea, an innovative idea for a business, and we may need some financing, we may need some mentoring, some mentorship, that's all very positive. But we need to keep that entrepreneurial spirit alive and well.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. When I think of the time when I was just 3-4 years ago in a small business, I kept wondering, because I wanted to hire staff that liked the business, that wanted to grow and learn what a business was like. And it hurt when I had to let people go, because in the Midwest, in this particular state, Ohio, the rules were changing. And they came quickly, and they came sharply. So I understand what you're talking about here. Nevada has such a beautiful background by nature that it's a welcome place to bring a family. It's a gorgeous place to bring friends, and tourism out here used to be at a high point. But we're all wondering, as we live here in the Carson City area, the capital, as we live here in Nevada, how much longer can the state of Nevada itself survive without the small business owners bringing people in, sharing what the state has, sharing what you're doing? Your security doors are a prime example of an excellent product.
Right. One of the things, I went to the chamber luncheon, and two of the new directors, one was for EDON, and I'm not going to say Mike's last name because it's well, I'm going to butcher it.
Okay.
But he had a lot of great ideas.
Yes.
And then Chris Baum, who is now the new director for the Reno Sparks Convention Center. They have new advertising going out, and it's great, and trying to reach out to other states.
And I hope it's positive advertisement.
It's all positive.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the ads, you have to see them, because they have done an absolute wonderful job in trying to reach out to other states and other communities.
Okay, let me ask you this, Kathy. What is the biggest challenge in running for public office that you find? Is this your first time in running for public office?
This is my second time. I ran in 2010 for the State Assembly.
All right.
And I guess the biggest challenge is trying to reach out and to as many people as I can to figure out the person that I am, and believing in me
Right. What does a political campaign do to you as a person, as an individual?
Wears you out.
Okay, there's
It's just a lot of hard work, and I don't mind that. To me, the greatest joy that I have is going door to door and talking to people and hearing what their ideas are and listening to them, because it's about them. It's not about me. I want to be a voice for them, for small business, for seniors, for veterans. You know, those are my passions, because I have a passion for people. I really do.
You're not a career politician.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes, we take a look at our age and we say, I'm past that. I'm past that point, okay? But I'm saying what you're bringing is a wealth of a background, Kathy.
Right.
You know what you're talking about as a small business owner.
Right.
You've had discipline in your life growing up, knowing when a course is set, what do you have to do to make sure that course, maybe your goal is going to be redefined slightly to the right or to the left, but the goal still remains,
Right.
and you're headed towards that goal.
Right.
So that kind of personal discipline, family discipline, is very important in running a small business. It's very important in conveying to the public, if you're asking us to vote, what do you stand for? Why is it so important to you? And we know, because we've been through so many political campaigns, as voters or as contributors to voting, it can get pretty hectic. It can also get a bit ugly, okay? And you wonder, what did I do all of that for? And it's because you say,
I want to help.
you want to make a difference.
I want to make a difference to seniors and veterans and small business people.
Well, Kathy, I appreciate your coming on and sharing this time. I know you have to split it between your personal life, your business life, and now a political life, and it takes a temperament that remains calm and cool under fire to do all those things. Are you calm and cool under fire?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay.
Gotta be.
Gotta be.
Well,
Gotta be.
it's one of those women things. I think I think you have to be, as a woman, you have to stay calm, cool, and collected. When you go home and you're in the privacy of your own home, I think that then you go up in the bedroom and you let it all out.
Close the doors, and if you need to scream, you scream. If you need to cry, you cry. But you hold it together for the benefit of all of us.
Right. And I think a lot of that comes from my dad, because he was an officer. And it was important that when you are facing fire, you have to stay calm, cool, and collected, and you don't have time to fall apart, not until it's all over.
And I think when you're also saying, when you're facing the fire, something in you, it's the best in you that rises to the occasion, and you are willing to sacrifice. On the battlefield, it's even your life.
Yeah.
In the political arena, it's a loss. It could be a loss, it could be a win, but you're willing to go out there.
I think it's a win all the way around.
Me too.
Because I think that you learn not only about yourself, but you learn about your community and the people that you're around, and that to me is a win all the way.
I agree with you. I think we have to feel the efforts and sometimes the pain of sacrifice and loss for us to become stronger, so that the next time when we enter any kind of a round, we're not only better prepared emotionally and mentally, but we're also better prepared for our neighbors, for the people that we love and care about. And there are so many groups that you really do care about. You're better prepared for them.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
We wish you the best of luck, the best of the run, and we'll be watching every move you make. Take care until next week, when we have another very special guest. We want to say thank you again, Kathy Martin. See you next week.